Hello and welcome to Triathlonology, a triathlon podcast by Animis racing team. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Jackie. We are a mum and son coaching team who have changed our lives through the sport of triathlon.
Our podcast aims to break down the mysteries of triathlon training and show you, the listener, how simple and flexible it can be so that it really does become part of your lifestyle and not just a hobby. Hello and welcome to another episode of Triathlonology, a triathlon podcast by Animis racing team.
I'm Coach Jackie.
And I'm Coach Oliver, and together we're a mum and son coaching team based in South Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire. And we, in this podcast, give out our advice and thoughts about triathlon in our indomitable Yorkshire style. What has been happening this week, Mum?
Well, we've been here in Villamora. I want to say sunny Villamora, but it's not been sunny all week. But we've been running our triathlon holiday.
Yes, well, we've had lots of athletes looking better at the end of it than they did at the beginning, even though they are fatigued. But that's the point of coming on a holiday, that we get eyes on our athletes for coaching and monitoring and making people better purposes, and then they get an afternoon off every day to go and do what they want with.
Yeah, we also try and explain to them how we coach triathlon in the way that we do it. So we thought, what better but to make a little podcast about
Exactly the same thing. So we can include you as though you were here, albeit probably with more sun depending on where you are, and less exercise.
Yeah. So this is the talk you wish someone had given you before your first race. So you need to grab a good cup of Yorkshire tea or lace up for a walk. We're going to go quite deep, I think, a bit, Oliver. Do you think over the next
period of time? Probably,
yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Probably.
So, triathlon isn't a sport. It's a race of attrition. It's not. You don't win by being the fastest in one discipline. You win by holding it together across all three of them. So while everyone else falls apart, because some people think it's a swim, a bike, and a run. It's not. It's triathlon.
Yeah, and you mean that applies to professionals as well, because people will fall apart during a race because they've got something not quite right on the day. But if you've done coaching with us and you follow the plan through to execution, then you won't fall apart. Our athletes don't.
And triathlon's not about power meters and pretty splits. It's about surviving with form when you're absolutely knacked.
Yes, so we give athletes the form to be able to complete a race or their discipline when they are tired. We call that tough. Technique under fatigue.
So, because we've seen athletes who boasted they've got these massive FTPs, which is power on your bike, crumble halfway through a run. And we've seen steady, smart racers cruise past them because they understand one simple thing. Don't blow it all early doors.
And I know this isn't a triathlon example, but it is a really good example about why sticking to your own plan will help you. So in this year's Milan-San Remo race, you had Matteo van der Poel, Tadej Pogacar and Filippo Ganna at the front of the race as the three. The first two attacked up the Poggio and absolutely left Ganna for dead, and everybody thought it was all over. But he's a time trialist, and he stuck to his plan, he stuck to his watts, and came second. He reeled him back in on the downhill, he reeled him back on the sprint, and finished second. And he was long gone at that point, it looked over for him. So he stuck to his plan and executed it perfectly.
So what we're going to say is, forget balance, manage chaos. What do we mean by that?
Well, there's never a perfect week. Work kicks off, kids get ill, project that you're working on goes to bits, your training goes sideways, you end up having to work late, or you don't eat at all through the day because you're busy in meetings, and I can certainly vouch for that. And so you just end up grabbing yourself a bag of McCoys and a Mars bar for your tea on your way home from coaching at Pool, because I've done that before.
Instead of, making your protein-rich dinner, that if you've been dead good, you'll have prepped on the Sunday, but life's not like that. So success isn't about dodging that stuff. It's about adapting. It's about staying calm when your plan goes out of the window.
Yeah, the Animis we say this often, but we coach real people. We have people who work shifts, people who have overtime and on-call responsibilities that they need to do, people who have busy, stressful careers and tech companies. And we teach them how to be flexible, reprioritize, and not panic if a session gets moved or missed. You don't need balance, although balance helps. What you need is tools to help you manage the chaos. And a coach, particularly us, we would say, are some of the best tools that you can have in managing that chaos.
So triathlon is a blue-collar sport. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it's not a sport for the elite few with 6 hours a day to train. It's for grafters, people like you and me. Because triathlon rewards consistency over talent. It rewards the person who gets up early in winter, laces up in the rain, and logs their training without fanfare. Not forever posing on Instagram, having all right kit and snazzy bike and going to this super duper pool. It's about
doing
every
hero sessions.
Yeah. You don't need carbon wheels and a £700 wetsuit. No.
Though they do help at the front end of the field if you're at that point, but you don't need them. Absolutely nobody needs them to do a race.
No, they don't. But what you do need is you need heart.
And resilience.
And most of all, you need to show up. So if you've ever looked at a triathlon start list and thought, I don't really belong here, let me tell you, you absolutely do.
And I know from my own personal experience, when I've done all the training that I needed to do, I've stood round in a pen waiting to set off and been one of the few that's not nervous because I know I've done everything that I needed to do. I've survived how work's been, I've survived how life's been, I've done my training and I am ready. But if you look round, you can see people who are looking a bit worried, can't you?
Yep, thinking, I didn't do that bike session 3 weeks ago or whatever. No, it's not about that. You can just do what you can do. What we say is, you swimming to survive, you're biking to set up, and you're running to win. And it's something we hammer home with every athlete that we coach.
Yeah, like bike for show, run for dough.
Exactly.
I suppose is what the Americans might say about that. So you can have a really fast bike split, but unless it's a special prize, you ain't winning any prizes or any prize money for that. Nobody really cares where you came in the bike split.
No.
But it's been able to run off the bike and take home that PB, that age group win, that overall win, whatever it might be.
A medal.
That's where you're going to get your bang for your buck.
So like with swimming, you don't need to be in the pool thinking, you've got to do all these sessions and you want to be like next Lucy Charles. Your job in the swim is to stay calm, to get through it smoothly and to come out of the water ready to race, not to be wrecked, because you can lose your race in the swim. Absolutely. You can't win it in the swim, but you certainly can lose it.
Then your bike is a transactional vehicle to get you from the swim to your run. And this is where most age groupers absolutely blow the doors off the race because the ride, like they've only got a 10k run to do at the end, and they get sucked into other people's races and they let their ego take over and they won't let people overtake them. God forbid a woman overtakes you.
Yeah.
They get completely myopic about being like racing hard and racing fast on your bike. But you haven't got a 10k to run when you get off it in a half Ironman or in an Ironman. You've either got a half marathon or a marathon to run. So riding like you're doing an Olympic or a sprint is a massive mistake. The bike is where you're going to fuel, hydrate and hold steady. You're going to, by the time you get out of the swim, your lactate will probably be quite high because swimming's quite an intense thing. Your heart rate will be going because you're at the start of the race. You want to use your bike to bring down your heart rate, bring down your lactate and level it off. And that's why we talk about doing big gear sessions and making the bike a strength-based session so that you're using big gears to push you to the end, bring that heart rate down and level off your lactate.
You need to take the opportunity to fuel and hydrate while you're on the bike. So because you can replace everything that you've lost in the swim, and to set yourself up for the next big challenge that's coming up, which is the run.
And run for dough doesn't mean running to win the whole thing. It means running to finish it strong. Hold your form, keep moving. This is where you get your training, pacing and planning really do pay off.
So when we coach, we prepare you to run well off the bike. And it's the secret weapon that most athletes ignore, and one of our biggest secret weapons.
Yes, and probably my biggest strength, or certainly used to be anyway, when I was racing at the level that I used to race, I could really run off the bike.
And I could. So training isn't complicated. It's people who want to sell you things that make training complicated.
Yes, and that's the biggest con in triathlon coaching that there is. Making everything sound more complicated than it needs to be. Having 52 million zones, or telling you about one zone over another, or zone 3 A, B, C, or you need to do this type of training or that type of training. It's just not the case. Like, it's easy to make something sound shiny and fantastic, the Norwegian method, whatever it might be.
Yeah, double threshold sessions. Rubbish.
There's no magic. There's just work.
It's just work. And if you can work, you can do it. So you don't need 6 apps and a metabolic test, a personal graph from your watch, because we do wear them, to see that you're training well. What you really need is a solid weekly rhythm, 2 or 3 key sessions, and recovery that you actually take seriously. But most of all, the ability to turn up, week in, week out, so that you become consistent. Consistency trumps perfection. And we say this all the time, every single time. Consistency beats perfection. So just remember that. Consistency beats perfection.
And you'll know when you're training well, because things will just feel right. And you will feel like you're in a nice little rhythm and a nice little sense of where you are. And there's a Japanese state that they talk about. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I'll come back to that. But that's when everything's in a nice sort of flow and is just moving nicely. You'll know when you're in that, and you'll be doing what you need to do.
So what we do is we strip away the noise and get your training in a way that works around your life. We say this all the time because it's true. Because if it doesn't work with your job, your kids, your energy levels, it just won't last, and you'll pack it in. And then you've wasted all your money. You've wasted that massive race fee. Your wife's going to be dead mad at you your husband's going to be dead mad at you for spending all that money on an Ironman. And then you bought this bike and blah, 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 and you packed it in.
But you also looked at triathlon in the wrong way. Triathlon is not about doing one race and then finishing it and then ticking a box. Triathlon is a nice lifestyle that will keep you fit and healthy for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And will provide you with a good inspiration for your children to remain fit and healthy and your grandchildren to remain healthy. Look at Andy. Andy, who helps us with our triathlon, he will not mind us saying that he is in his 60s now.
Yep.
He has been doing triathlon for well over 40 years.
Yep.
And has done Kona.
Yep.
As a legacy place. He does an Ironman nearly every year. And he loves it. And he is an absolute, and he might be slowing down as he's getting older.
Yeah.
But he is the definition of how triathlon enhances your life and puts everything in a good lifestyle rather than consuming your life and then making it become a one and done. We view coaching as a relationship and not a spreadsheet, and that's where we agree with excellent coaches like Brett. Joe Filio's podcast is back now, and he'll be saying the same thing.
Matt
Dixon, Paulo Sosa, all very much that it's about your relationship with people and not what numbers say. Like AI can write you a training plan.
No doubt.
You can buy one off the internet, a training plan. But how do you know it's going to work for you? Only your coach gets you. Well, not all coaches will get you.
Not all coaches get you, no.
You need a coach who does get you, who understands, who knows what your background is, who knows what your life's looking like and is capable of fitting everything all together like a big jigsaw puzzle. You don't when you're ramming in pieces into the corner slots because you just need to find it to get it fitting there and then think, oh, it's all right. No.
It's also a coach who can read you and who knows when you're coasting and who knows when you need pushing, who knows when you need pulling back. So it's about listening to athletes, listening to what you're saying and what you're not saying that helps us with your coaching.
I mean, Mel said this in camp this week, didn't she, when she was here, and she was talking about when she did the T100 last year, and she, in her head, she just thought, I'll get a bit of a walk and a bit of a rest as I come up the ramp back into Excel Centre. And then who should appear round the corner? Coach Jackie.
I shouted, Mel, crack on. And she thought, shit, I better get on with it. And she did an amazing time.
She was really, really very good. Really, very good. But it was, sometimes you do need the stick as well as the carrot for people. And it's knowing at the time at what point
you need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not always appropriate. And people think I'm fierce.
Well, you are. I'm the good cop and you're the bad cop of this relationship.
Yeah, but I'm not really fierce because I've got your best interest at heart. And if I think something's wrong, then I'll say it's wrong. I can't help myself because what's the point?
Whereas I'm more Kofi Annan or Buttress Ghali, I think.
I don't know who that is.
He used to be Secretary General at UN.
I didn't know who that were.
Yeah, did. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I mean, I'm often, it's probably because it's my job. To settle people disputes and be diplomatic. But yeah, I'm definitely good cop in our relationship and you're a bad cop, aren't you? You tell people how it is and I have to go around making sure that it's dealt with in a kinder manner.
I'm not that bad. Some people need to know.
Yes, some people do.
And you might have tried for ages, like being nicey, but it's not always about, nicey is not going to get you where you want to be. What's the point? I'm not doing my job as a coach.
Yeah, it's about knowing what to say and when not to say it, isn't it? Like we go back to it. Yeah,
that's one thing that I always take away is when we were being mentored by Brett. He said to us, "It's not the art of coaching is knowing what to say and when not to say it."
So like when we're coaching people, even this week, we've seen people who we want to give advice to, but you just think, not yet. I know what I need to say to you, but I'm not going to give you everything all at once because you're just too much for you to take on.
It's just overwhelming and you can't cope and your brain can't cope. You've got enough going on in your head.
So, and that's what we are at Animis. We build relationships. We understand you as a person, so we know what to say and when not to say it. And we will be your best advocate on your good days, in your own life as well as in your coaching life, and we will be in your corner when things are going bad for you.
Definitely.
We're not about perfection, we're about good. Good can never be the enemy of perfection. We want you to be better all the time.
Yeah.
And if we can make you into a better human, as well as a better athlete, something Danny Roll, Sheffield Wednesday manager, talks about making good humans, then we'll do that through one conversation at a time.
Yeah, and about telling you the truth in a nice way.
So wrapping this up then, like what is triathlon? Well, it's not a swim, a bike and a run. It's one sport. Or what you do in one affects all the other three. It's not about spreadsheets. It's not
Definitely not spreadsheets.
Or a book or a plan that you can download off the internet. It's not about gear. It's not about gadgets.
And it's definitely not about ego.
If you are egotistical, you are probably in the wrong spot, my friend.
Yeah, and you won't be a good fit for us. No.
It's a test of patience and preparation and your willingness to keep going when
everything gets tough. I always think about Chrissy Wellington here and that Rudyard Kipling
the If poem.
The If poem, because that just says it all for me. You know, if you haven't read it, have a read because it just says everything.
The best line and the most appropriate line for triathlon is where Kipling says, "If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same," because they are. You are never 100% high, you're never 100% low, you're always somewhere in the middle. But your ego and your self-conscious will pick one of them and say that's where you are. But if you treat a disaster in exactly the same way as you treat a triumph and a success, with a level, calm head and focusing on you and how you better is, and the best way for you to go forward and to map it and to process it, you will always be fine. If you've never read the poem, read it from start to the finish. It is tremendous.
Yeah, because triathlon is a test of your patience, your preparation, and your willingness to keep going when it gets tough, just as it says in Kipling's poem. But what's the best bit?
It's for everyone. We say this all the time because people still think to do triathlon you have to be mega fit or look like you've been chiselled by a Greek sculptor. But it's not the case, is it?
No, it's for the ones who never thought they were athletes. The kids at school who were last to be picked in PE, who hated PE. So,
but if you come to our triathlon or you look at the photos from our triathlon in 2 weeks' time, which is unbelievably nearly sold out, unbelievably, 2 weeks away from it, you will see
life.
Tens of people who are all ages, all sexes,
all
shapes, sizes, look differently, and all of them enjoying it, smile on the face, and having a good time at doing a triathlon. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's not a performance.
It's for busy mums and lads who do shift work and anybody who wants, if you get to 40 and you think, I really need to make a change in my life, and you want to try and be a bit more of a role model for your kids, then triathlon is for you. It's about a lifestyle, not about being performance.
It's not about being the best at triathlon. It's about being and becoming your best. Be the best person that you can be, and that's the win for you all.
Absolutely a win, 100% a win.
So if you're ready to train perfectly, we're not for you. But if you're ready to train properly and you want to be part of something that fits into your life with other athletes who all believe in the same thing, in a community where we all foster that in culture, then we're here for you. Get in touch with us via Instagram, social media, Facebook, TikTok.
Maybe TikTok.
We'll be on TikTok by the time that this comes out. We'll be on TikTok. Or drop us an email, contact us through the show.
Yeah, go to his website.
We will be in touch and we will help. So thank you very much for listening. And until next time, we'll see.
Thank you for joining us today.
See you next time.
See you then. Or as we say in Yorkshire, Siddy.